Hey, Jason here from Simply Swider. If your GE washer is acting up and driving you crazy, don't worry. In the next 15 minutes, I'll walk you through the 7 most common problems I see with these machines and show you exactly how to fix them. The good news? Most of these issues can be solved for under $50, saving you hundreds on service calls. Before we get started, if you run into any questions, jump into our Facebook group. Links in the description. We've got thousands of people helping each other fix their appliances, and I pop in there daily to help out. All right, let's dive into the number one issue I get calls about. Your GE washer won't start at all. I remember this lady who called me in a panic last winter. She said her washer showed absolutely no signs of life, no matter what she tried. Turns out we had some power surges during that ice storm, and it knocked out a bunch of washers in her neighborhood. Safety first, before we start, unplug your washer from the wall. You'll need a multimeter for this repair, which costs about $20 at any hardware store. Now, here's what we're checking first: the power supply. Many times these washers aren't getting enough power to start up. Make sure you're plugged directly into the wall outlet, not using any extension cords or adapters. Test that outlet with a multimeter if you've got one, or just plug something else into it to see if it's working. Next thing, check your circuit breaker. After power surges, these things trip all the time. Just flip it back on if it's tripped. Also, take a look at that power cord running to your washer. If you see any damage or melting, that's your culprit right there. Now, if the power is good but you're still dead in the water, we're probably looking at internal hardware problems. Put your nose near that control board area. If you smell burning plastic or see any scorch marks, that control board's toast. These usually run about 130 to $300 to replace, way cheaper than buying a new washer. Here's a pro tip: put your GE washer into field service diagnostic mode. You'll see error codes like E57, E58, or E71 pop up if the control board's the problem. Other things that can cause this: faulty drive motor, bad lid switch, or a defective timer. Test these parts for electrical continuity and replace whatever's not working. Next up is problem number two. Your washer fills with water but won't spin at all. This is a 15 to 30-minute fix that drives people nuts because their clothes just sit there soaking wet. Before we open anything up, let's check the simple stuff first. These basic checks solve the problem about 60% of the time. Are you overloading that washer? I see this all the time. People stuff way too much in there and the machine can't balance properly. Also, make sure you selected the right cycle setting. Sometimes people accidentally hit a soak cycle or something that doesn't include spinning. If everything looks right but it's still not spinning, try manually selecting the drain and spin cycle on your control panel. That'll tell us if the spin function itself is working. Now, if that doesn't work either, we're looking at internal repairs. Most common thing I see is a faulty lid switch or door lock latch. These safety switches prevent the washer from spinning if they think the lid's open. Next thing to check, those motor carbon brushes. These little guys wear out over time and cost maybe 10 to $15 to replace. Way better than replacing the whole motor. Speaking of the motor, if your drive belt is loose or broken, that'll stop the spin cycle dead in its tracks. You can usually see this just by looking inside. Also, check that drain pump. If it's clogged up with socks or debris, the washer won't spin because it thinks there's still water in there. Put your washer in test mode to get error codes. E46 through E48 means motor problems. E60 through E64 usually points to door lock issues. Next up, let's talk about when your GE washer sounds like a freight train running through your laundry room. Some people joke about getting their washer a record deal if there's a rhythm to the noise, but trust me, this is something you want to fix quick. First thing to check: is your load balanced? An unbalanced load is probably the number one cause of loud rattling I see. Just redistribute those clothes evenly around the drum. But if the noise keeps happening even with balanced loads, we're looking at worn out parts inside the machine. Common culprits are those suspension rods that keep the drum steady. These cost about $30 to $60 to replace. When these go bad, you'll hear banging and rattling during the spin cycle. Tub bearings are another big one, running about 80 to 120 for the part. When these wear out, you get a grinding noise that gets progressively worse over time. Don't ignore this because it can damage other parts if you let it go too long. Also, check those agitator dogs if you've got a top loader. These little plastic pieces wear out and start making clicking noises. They're only about 5 to $20 to replace. Other things to look for: stretched drive belt, damaged motor coupling, or even objects stuck in the drain pump. I've pulled everything from coins to bobby pins out of those pumps. Oh, and here's something a lot of people forget. If you just installed the washer, make sure you removed all those shipping bolts and drum locks. Those things will make all kinds of racket if you leave them on. Water leaks need immediate attention to prevent expensive floor damage. Here's your action plan. First, unplug the washer for safety. Second, turn off the water supply valves behind the machine. Third, mop up standing water and place towels under the washer to catch ongoing drips. Now you're safe to diagnose the problem without creating more damage. Now, most leaks I see come from a few common spots. That drain pump is a big one. If it's cracked or the connections are loose, you'll get water pooling under the washer. Also, check those fill and drain hoses. Over time, these can crack or get loose where they connect. Sometimes it's just a matter of tightening the connections with a pair of pliers. The door gasket on front loaders is another frequent leak spot. That rubber seal gets torn or develops cracks, especially if people are rough with loading clothes. You can usually see the damage just by looking at it. Water inlet valve problems will cause leaks too, usually from the back of the machine where the water lines connect. Don't forget to check that tub seal. If it's worn out, water can leak from the inner tub into the outer tub and eventually onto your floor. The good news is most of these parts are pretty affordable. A new door gasket runs about 60 to 150 bucks, way cheaper than water damage to your house. Let's move on to when your washer starts a cycle but no water comes in. This is frustrating because the machine acts like it's working but nothing's happening. The water inlet valve is usually the culprit here. This component controls when water flows into the tub, and if it's clogged with debris or electrically short, you won't get any water. Here's the thing about water inlet valves: don't try to unclog them. I've seen too many people break these trying to clean them out. Just replace it if it's bad. They run about 30 to 100 bucks. Now, if the inlet valve's clogged, those fill hoses are probably in the same boat. Check if they're kinked behind the washer or clogged with sediment. Sometimes just repositioning the washer will straighten out a kinked hose. Also, test your water pressure with a gauge. These washers need between 20 and 120 psi to fill properly. If your pressure is too low, the inlet valve won't open. Other things that can cause this: faulty water level switch, bad lid switch, or problems with the control panel. The water level switch tells the washer when it has enough water, so if it's stuck thinking the tub's already full, no water will come in. Test these components for electrical continuity and replace whatever's not working. If you're not comfortable with electrical testing, definitely call a pro for this one. Last problem we're covering today: when your washer finishes the cycle, but there's still water sitting in the bottom. This leaves your clothes sopping wet and is usually a pretty straightforward fix. Start with that drain hose. Check if it's kinked or clogged. If the hose is bent at a weird angle behind the washer, water can't flow out properly. Sometimes just straightening it out solves the whole problem. If it's clogged, you can try running high pressure water through it backward to flush out debris. Make sure the connection between the drain hose and your house drain pipe is secure too. Next thing to check is the drain pump itself. This pump pushes water out of the tub, and if it's clogged with lint, coins, or other junk, it can't do its job. You might also have a clogged drain pump filter that needs cleaning. Other causes I see: faulty lid switch or door lock latch that's preventing the drain cycle from starting, bad control board, or even too many suds from using the wrong detergent. Also, if you're overloading the washer, it might not drain properly because the clothes are too heavy when saturated. Most of these fixes are pretty simple, but if you're not comfortable working on the pump or electrical components, it's worth calling someone like me to handle it properly. Now, before we wrap up, let me show you the models that seem to have these issues most often. You can see on the screen right now the GE model lines that I work on regularly for these exact problems. The front-loading units displayed here tend to have more door latch and gasket issues, while these top-load models shown are more prone to lid switch and agitator problems. What I've learned over the years is that certain series of GE washers are just more susceptible to specific failures. The models you're seeing here represent probably 80% of the GE washer service calls I get. Don't panic if your model's on this list. It just means the problems are well known and the fixes are straightforward. And that's how you tackle the most common GE washer problems without breaking the bank. Here's your troubleshooting order. First, check power and basic settings. This fixes 30% of issues. Second, examine hoses and connections, another 20% solved. Third, test electrical components with your multimeter. Finally, tackle internal mechanical parts only if the first steps don't work. This systematic approach saves you time and money. Most of the time, one of these fixes will get your washer back up and running for way less than a service call would cost you. If you guys know someone who's having appliance troubles, please send them the link to this video or a link to my channel where I have tons of other videos showing how to fix pretty common issues with appliances, sometimes for free or as little cost as possible. It sure beats having a repairman come out and spending several hundred for them to fix it when it could be something so simple. If this helped you get your GE washer working again, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Let me know which fix worked for you. Really helps other people with the same problem. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We'll get this out to more folks who need to save some time and money. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.